Let's say this together. Mental health, any sort of mental health issue, is an explanation, not an excuse. Sometimes there could be a misconception that therapists can excuse certain behaviors simply because we understand the nuances of mental health, have a comprehensive understanding of why people are the way that they are, and are compassionate and empathetic. But that's far from the truth. If anything, therapists are the biggest believers of the fact that mental health is an explanation and not an excuse. At a certain point, you have to understand that just because you struggle with something, and so many people do at some extent, it does not mean that you're exempt from accountability. It does not mean that you can do whatever you want and treat people the way that you want. Because it comes to a point where, especially when you have the resources and the capability, you have to take action to work on those parts of yourself so that you can be a better version of yourself. That's why there's that famous saying of hurt people hurt people. And I have seen this happen time and time again with Hannah on the show. She constantly brings up her anxiety, constantly brings up her struggles as an excuse for how she's been behaving and how she's been treating other people in the cast. She uses her mental health as a way to victimize herself, gain some sort of control, and manipulate others, and avoid accountability and deflect. And that's not okay. Not to mention this constant theme of hypocrisy and double standards. How can you say that you are the way that you are because of your anxiety and people don't understand, but when Charlie just lost 2 close family members in such a short amount of time, you, and I quote, said, all people struggle, and that's not an excuse to be a shitty person or a bad person. So besides the hypocrisy of it all, she is fully aware of the fact that mental health can't be used as a cop-out to treat people poorly. If your mental health is that debilitating to the point that you're hurting other people, don't go on a reality TV show where every part of you is going to be activated and triggered at all times, and you are going to be interacting with people the entire time. So instead of weaponizing her anxiety in order to benefit herself and to avoid accountability, maybe she should take that time to truly reflect and see how her anxiety is manifesting in her relationship and how it has been impacting how she shows up in these relationships and how she communicates to other people and treats other people. I mean, she expects that from others. She holds them to that standard, but she doesn't hold herself to that exact same standard. And she's not the first person on reality TV to do this. Let's be honest. Because if we want to play by that same logic of like, oh, I'm struggling with trauma, I'm struggling with anxiety, I'm struggling with this, therefore I'm exempt of any sort of accountability, that is why I am the way that I am, that's why I treat people poorly, we can say the exact same thing for people that do pretty egregious things. Mass unalivers, serial unalivers, child predators, rapists. Every single one of those behaviors can be attributed to some sort of mental health condition. For example, child predators or rapers were often abused when they were children. Serial unalivers often struggled with some sort of childhood trauma or a personality disorder. The classic bullies often struggle with problems at home. Maybe they struggle with self-esteem issues. Maybe they have their own version of childhood trauma. Mass pew-pewers often struggle with deep, deep depression. Not to say that what Hannah did compares to any of these things, but the idea that you can use mental health to excuse a behavior needs to stop. Because every single type of behavior that leads to the harm, whether it's minor or significant, of others, is rooted in some sort of mental health condition. Instead of using it as a crutch, use it as a stepping stool to finally get the help that you need.